RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Devlin.
What's up, everybody? Hello, everyone. Nice to see you. Nice to see you in the chat. My name is Tara Devlin. How's it sounding? How's it looking? Thank you for hanging out. This is unapologetic liberal talk on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. I should stand up more, but not tonight. I don't know. I'm feeling tired. I got my hair cut. I don't know. It doesn't really look that good. It's okay. It's shorter, so it's not hanging down like Cousin It. But all right. Yeah, we meet here whenever. We generally have our Friday evening show at around 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This Friday, our guest, we're going to have a guest at 9:30. The show will start around 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard. And at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, John Perkins, the author of the classic Confessions of an Economic Hitman, will join us for a discussion on his life as an economic hitman and the state of the world and what, and transitioning, hopefully, maybe one day, maybe not in our lifetimes probably, but transitioning to an economy not of greed, but of decency, dignity, democracy, humanity, everything that makes Republicans recoil. So if you can, please, yes, thank you for your nice compliments about my hair, Kathy, on the chat. It had to happen. I mean, I could feel it. I could feel it, the light. Isn't that nice when you get a haircut? Your head just feels lighter, especially when you have long hair. And I need to keep my long hair. I don't really have a face for short hair. So I guess it's not a face. Is it a face? It's an attitude, right? I guess if I would have a face for short hair if I just didn't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like if I had that kind of freedom of not caring. And I think maybe that'll come one day. I think the older you get, the less you care about shit like that. And yeah, maybe that's true freedom. All right, well, we'll talk about that another day. So, because we have so many other things to talk about tonight and very repugnant and living in the last days of the American Republic. The good news, it remains to be good news, so we might as well take it while we can get it, is that the filthy fascist lying trust fund scumbag, born on third base, thinking he hit a triple, but using all his ill-gotten gain, the chicken murdering Tucker Carlson, who sits atop of a billion chicken corpses, I suppose. Never ever thinking, giving 1 second of brain thought to all the chickens he's killed. No sense of anything. Just a sense of entitlement from head to toe. But also using that privilege that he was born into, that he simply hit the Lucky Sperm Club lottery, but using his privilege to make the lives of working people worse, to divide people, to divide the country he pretends to love, to attack and destroy the democracy that so many fought, bled, and died for. Not him, of course. To everything that it makes me wonder, as an actual human being with feelings and emotions and empathy and all the things that Mother Nature, all the features that Mother Nature put into us, so we can live together and have we can be interdependent and also thrive that way, because that's how Mother Nature made us. Alone, we might be able to survive, but together we thrive, and that is how we were built. So But Republicans into that the human condition, which is, there's nothing to this. It's indisputable that we are an interdependent species. But into that reality, Republicans have they've tried to redefine themselves as somewhat as these. Well, they call it rugged individuals, but it really is just another search for the superior moral justification for selfishness. So, and that's what they are. So, I always think if that's what you are and that's what you want to be a selfish prick, go be one. But get the fuck out. Get out. Leave us alone. Go to a desert island and be a selfish prick. You don't get the privilege of living amongst human beings, but this is how they operate, because they want everything, including our serenity. That it's nothing to them. We're nothing but hosts from which to suck profit and discard, and they play with people's lives like they're nothing, and which also is a testament to the fact that they are sociopaths, right? Yes, and thank you, Haiku, on the chat. Nice to see you. Little Fled Cruz planned a coup and didn't know where to find it. Right, and there you go. There's more tapes coming out about Ted Cruz, well, his involvement in the coup, because they're all a bunch of traitors. And they hate America. They hate democracy. And the fact that, here's the other thing. So Tucker Carlson, who is a scum from head to toe, just a filthy, it's like one of these people that if he was never born, let's live in that dream world. It's a nice world. But if somebody like Tucker Carlson was never born, like Trump, wouldn't the world have been better off without these people? They bring nothing to the table. What do they add? And on top of it, they take. They're nothing but takers. So this is why, everything coming out of a Republican's mouth is either a projection or a confession. They like to call those who weren't born on third base, who thinking they hit a triple, those people who might fall on hard times, those who haven't come into their trust fund in this lifetime. They like to call those people takers. Just it's in the Ayn Rand tradition of calling those who partake in our social safety net as parasites. That's what Ayn Rand. She famously called the Medicare recipients parasites, but then, of course, at the end of her life, needed to go on Medicaid or Medicare because when her filthy 3-pack a day cigarette smoking habit caught up to her, and cancer, that great old capitalist healthcare system we have, and Ayn Rand found out that cancer costs more than books earn. That was her exact quote. So hold on. But these people, the search for the superior moral justification for selfishness. But that's one thing. So there's so many things to talk about. And one of the things I wanted to bring up is, of course, Tucker Carlson, thank goodness he's been, given his marching orders, but we can only celebrate for so long because he will be back. I don't know in what form, but we have to also wonder I wonder what the separation agreement from Fox News will be, because many of these agreements have non-compete clauses where they'll pay him out, but he will have to agree not to go to any other network for a period of time, and that would be in the contract, whether it be 6 months, a year, or whatnot, where he can sit on his pile of money and come up with ways to destroy the country and the planet further. But it is telling that he wasn't even fired for however long, not even 48 hours, and already he's getting job offers from Russian state television, RT, and the big the whining from Sergei Lavrov says it all. Putin lost his one of his favorite mouthpieces here in the United States of serfs and lords, and he couldn't have asked for a better propagandist. I mean, Tucker Carlson is Tokyo Rose of our day. He is a traitor. Hold on, let me lower this. We don't really need this tonight. But just a reminder, Friday. Oh yeah, I already said that. We're gonna have John Perkins on the show. See, I'm losing it here. I just said that like 5 minutes ago. But why not repeat it? Who cares, right? Might as well. That's a promo. You just keep hitting the promo. All right. So, so what was I thinking about tonight? I was thinking about what am I going to call tonight's show? And really the theme is how Republicans are, they cry victim. And we see right through them, of course, because we're not complete cultists. But one of the things I have to say, so I was online, whatever, watching some videos on YouTube, just doing research and whatnot about about this situation, what happened at Fox, and reading the comments. You're always taking a chance getting it, because I like to see what some of the dum-dums are saying. If you go on a pro-Fox or right-wing site or YouTube channel, you get a window into their world of a very tiny racist and vile world, yes, but sad, sick, and all. Wait, hold on, I'm losing and all the other disjointed adjectives. Okay, but so one of the things somebody was saying about that they were so in the right wingosphere, so sphere. I can't talk. They're saying that Tucker was fired because Fox News is part of the deep state now. All right, just like everything else, like the FBI and all the anything that what's the deep state? They're pulling words right out of the ass of the very ugly on the inside and somewhat on the outside, whatever. Okay, I'm not bullying, but the very sick, let's say, sick. He's a very sick person, Steve Bannon. Sick, greedy, twisted, fascist, disgusting, horrible people. That's one of the things that we can take that to the bank, that Republicans, I mean, they really are very, very not well. They're not well people. So one of the things that Steve Bannon is promoting is that, the deep state and they got Tucker. The deep state got him. But, of course, they're full of shit. Republicans they're just gaslighting those stupid enough to continue to fall for it. But and as I was going through the comments, and somebody posted, Google Ray Epps, and you'll see just why Tucker was let go, because he was exposing the FBI false flag that happened on January 6th. I kid you not. Right? This is a thought virus, I guess, that goes on the right wing. So Ray Epps, for those who aren't, I'm not a moron, and I don't hang out in a sewer with a bunch of fascists. So I had to really, do a little research. But 60 Minutes is doing a piece on Ray Epps. And I think either it aired already or it's airing this weekend. And so Ray Epps, who is Ray Epps? Okay. He's just a dum-dum. He's a dum-dum, stupid enough to believe Republican lies that the election, to believe Trump's lies. I don't know how stupid you gotta be to believe the con man. I don't get it. I really don't get it. And I guess, every show we got to take like 5 minutes to be like, I don't get it. Like, why do these people believe or follow this horrible grifter, this lifelong grifter with the fake university and the vitamin scam? Okay, putting that aside, but so Ray, who is Ray Epps? He's a dum-dum. He was part of this fascist, racist organization called the Oath Keepers, and he was there on January 6th. And unfortunately for him, he was recorded, because everybody has a video nowadays, right? Which is why I'm always wondering why Republicans just can't seem to get a video of all the Antifa that are supposedly burning cities to the ground, right? But, okay, because they don't exist, right? But, and it's a Republican lies. So anyway, Ray Epps was, he was recorded saying, we got to go to the Capitol, we're going to go to the Capitol, and encouraging his fellow dum-dums to go to the Capitol, and following what Trump said, right? So because this moron got his moron opinions and him inciting other morons on video, the right wingosphere, in their search for anybody to take responsibility for the coup, to deflect blame onto, because the party of personal responsibility never takes responsibility for anything that they do. Then they found Ray Epps, and he's just one dum-dum. He is not a rich person. He's just a normal guy, I guess. Normal as far as Trumpanzees can go, of course. But he's not a trust fund brat. He's nobody born on third base thinking he hit a triple. He's a powerless, unconnected, politically yokel dope who is racist, undoubtedly, and therefore stupid enough to vote Republican and to follow these morons and to watch Tucker Carlson and to listen to the stupids like Perjury Trader Green and Lauren banned from the bowling alley Boebert and Matt Sexual Predator Getz, right? I mean, that's who he is. He's just a stupid, useless idiot. But he became a useless idiot, a more useful idiot for Republicans. And, let me just play this. Where is it? Ray Epps. I got some video here somewhere. Let me see. Hold on, everybody. Fuck. Do I have it? Oh, wait. Here we go. Here's just I think this is the clip. It's a clip from the 60 Minutes episode about Ray Epps. Wait. Come on, Ecamm. Work with me.
Was the role of Ray Epps in the chaos of January 6th.
The theory, Epps, a former member of the Oath Keepers, was an FBI informant who incited the crowd on January 6th, bubbled up from a right-wing news site called Revolver News, run by a former Trump speechwriter.
He's the smoking gun of the entire Fedsurrection.
And landed on Fox News primetime.
According to a new investigation from Revolver, Epps may have led the breach team that first entered the Capitol on January 6th.
The convoluted conspiracy theory made its way to Capitol Hill.
It's not the Proud Boys who engage in the initial breach. It's Ray Epps at that precise moment.
How did Ray Epps know that there were going to be pipe bombs?
Ms. Sadburn, who is Ray Epps?
Unreal.
That
Who is
question
Ray
has
Epps?
animated
Now-
Fox News host Tucker Carlson for nearly 2 years.
Let me just say, this Ray Epps is a citizen. He's just some dude. And there go the Republicans from the halls of power to the halls of the fascist propaganda outlet Fox News, attacking this private citizen over and over and over. And he's got no means to fight back. What is he going to do against these billionaires? You know, so of course the billionaires unleashed the mob of MAGA morons on this useless idiot. And they have disrupted and uprooted his entire life. But he's just one dumbass in a list of dumbasses. But they do this all the time. Republicans. They attack private citizens. We've seen this before with Trump. He's done it, he does it all the time. And I remember in the beginning of the maladministration of his, that he when he first squatted in the White House despite receiving fewer votes, he was attacking private citizens on Twitter. The so-called president of the United States, the most powerful man on earth, attacking private citizens, just normal people, like the two women who were doing their civic duty and overseeing elections in Georgia. Their Lady Ruby, I believe her name is, and her daughter, and they attack these average normal people, proving yet again how evil they are, how much they hate America. They're nothing but bullies, and that's all they have. Look at all of their policies. Look at their actions throughout the country. Their budget is a statement of who's going to be bullied. They never bully those in power. They are the typical kiss up, kick down cowards. Republicans. That's who they are. They're horrible people. They are. They're really. If somebody on the chat could say, point me in a different direction to say, no, they're not horrible. Here's an example of them being decent. I would like to know it, because as far as Ray Epps is concerned, he's now lamenting and crying to 60 Minutes about how he's been attacked and bullied. But that's what it took. You see, now he regrets his involvement with the traitor being at January 6th and all the things that he did that day. But he still says things like, the election was a mess. As I watched the 60 Minutes interview, I was like, they never, the pundit who was interviewing Ray Epps, they didn't stop him or correct him. He's like, yeah, it was my duty. The election was, there were a lot of problems in the election. There weren't a lot of problems in the election. The only problem that went on in the election was that Republicans were saying falsely that it was stolen. That's the problem with the election. So, Ray Epps believed the con man, the one who had sold the fake university as an outright grift. As documents, under oath, the court documents, the executives of so-called Trump University said that Trump University was created as a scam. Okay, that's what they say under oath. That's that's your leader, that's your Führer, the one who creates the fake university scam, the fake vitamin scam, all kinds of multi-level marketing scams, all kinds of scams, inflating the value of his property when he needs a loan and then deflating it when it comes time to paying his taxes. So, just when it comes time to paying taxes, he just declares loss after loss after loss until we end up paying him. And that's how he survived. That's what he did his entire life. He is a con man, of epic proportions. Yeah. I mean, if there's one thing we could say, he is a prolific and rather successful con man. He's probably the most successful con man that's ever walked the planet, since he was able to con himself into the executive office, and he still has dumbasses following him and believing him. So, but that is a pathology that, I don't know, it can't be explained. It's pretty pathetic. And maybe one day, future generations will have the technology to unpack it. But I do know, and we can take this to the bank, unlike Trump's, all his laundry list of fake businesses, but future generations they're not going to look kindly on the Republican Party. They're not going to look back at Fox News and perjury trader Green and all of that, Ray Epps and the rest of the cast of characters that Bannon, Boebert, Matt Gaetz, Ted Cruz, all the traitors that just keep flying out of the woodwork, that they're not going to fare well in history's spotlight. But believe me, as Trump would say, believe me. But yeah, to think of this dum-dum, this Ray Epps character who is just a citizen, and that goes to show you who Republicans really are, how evil they are. And if they could kick down on Ray Epps, it just says that they have no attachment to the people who cheer them. They have no respect for these people. They hate them. And I say it all the time. The Republicans hate their supporters more than, Democrats hate them. That's the truth, because Democrats aren't trying to have a mob incite violence against them. Democrats aren't taking useless idiots and plucking them out of the crowd and using them as scapegoats to advance their nefarious anti-American, anti-democratic agenda. Democrats aren't trying to get these people killed. These are the supporters. These are the Trump supporters. So it doesn't matter whether you support them or not. Republicans hate their supporters. They count on the stupidity of their supporters to continue to vote for them. That's for sure. They hate their supporters because what do they have for their supporters? They don't have anything that is going to help their lives, right? They don't give them health care or fight for their health care. They don't fight for living wages. They don't fight for their retirement security or decent lives, decent middle-class lives. They don't protect their communities from, some corporation dumping poison into their environments. No, they don't. All they give them is some other segment of society to hate. They give them scapegoats to focus their manias on. They tickle their racist funny bones. They activate them. They make them angry. I mean, how do you say that you support that you're working for the people? That you supposedly support, right? That you're working for your supporters. How do you say that when what you're doing is disrupting their lives? I mean, Ray Epps, even, of course, he's the scapegoat, but all the other morons who are targeting him, their lives are disrupted too. They don't see Republicans rob the American people of everything, from their democracy to their downright, just their serenity. You know, they don't leave people alone to live in peace. And isn't that the point of government, right? So the founders fought a revolution. Many others wore the uniform of this country, supposedly to keep democracy going, right? So we could live in peace and be left the fuck alone. What is freedom? You know, leave us alone. So, and if you want to serve in government, the point of government is to ensure the infrastructure of democracy and freedom, so we could all go about our business unmolested by these fascist bastards infiltrating the tiny minds of their supporters with lies, just peppering the dumbasses with lies and then setting them loose into the society. So you tell me that they love this country, that they are working for the American people? You know, people like Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz is a traitor, and we have it on tape now. We always knew he was a traitor. He was one of the insurrectionists who stood up and questioned the election, under the guise that people are questioning the election. They're only questioning it because Fox News is spreading lies. It's the self-fulfilling mania machine that Fox News is unleashing. And this is, you know, it's alarming, because this is how democracies die. That's why Putin is very upset. And the Russian propaganda outlets are upset. They have already offered Tucker a job, but the what's his name? Sergei Lavrov, the Russian ambassador, went on wherever he was speaking at the UN, saying how terrible it is that Tucker is gone, because that just shows you that, you know, freedom of speech is in trouble here in America. No, they're just upset that their favorite puppet, their Tokyo Rose, got canned. But anyway, let's just continue with this video from 60 Minutes.
Ray Epps, he's on video several times encouraging crimes, riots, breaches of the Capitol.
Carlson has focused on Epps more than 20 times on his top-rated show, a half dozen times so far this year.
He's obsessed with me. He's going to any means possible to destroy my life.
It's terrible.
And
he
our
should
lives.
sue. I mean,
Why?
he should. If there's some high-powered attorney or whatever that wants to take a case pro bono, they should take this case. You know, one thing I have to say that is encouraging as well is, and I'm not sure if you heard this, that Hunter Biden, see, Tucker Carlson, Hunter. I'm thinking of how Tucker Carlson reached out to Hunter Biden and told him what a great guy he was, and can you write a letter of recommendation for my brat Buckley Carlson, and what a great guy, and we got to have dinner again, and blah blah. You know, that's because this is who they are. You know, that's Tucker Carlson in a nutshell. He is operating in a different world. That the whole thing is a game to him. So you shouldn't, no harm, no foul. This is how the game is played. If I have to tell my dumbass audience that Hunter Biden is, hanging around with prostitutes and human trafficking, oh, well, that's just how you play the game, right? And then you turn around and ask him for a letter of recommendation and say, well, yeah, we got to have dinner soon. I really appreciate it. I love you, my dude, and all this other shit that he said in the letter. You know, Tucker is a filthy, disgusting sociopath. Who acts like that besides somebody who's a sociopath? Who is born into wealth like that and doesn't give a shit about the country. He pretends to love that. He prostitutes. I mean, he really is. He's like a pimp prostituting Lady Liberties. Like, get out there and get the dumbasses. Show some leg, and we'll get the dumbasses to I don't know. Destroy America once and for all. I mean, this is who these people are. They have no integrity, because it's all about the unholy dollar for them. It doesn't matter how many zeros they have on their bank account already. America is transactional to them. Because no matter what system of government, obviously they will fare better in an autocracy. So, democracy is very pesky. That they don't want to give anybody a seat at the table that wasn't born on third base, thinking they hit a triple. Who wants to consider the dumb yokels? Who wants to pay living wages or think about the environment when you can save a buck by dumping your shit into our public commons? So anyway, that's who Tucker Carlson, and he's full of shit. We know that he's a phony. He's a two-face. He's the same one that we got his texts and emails saying how much he loathes Trump, and then not more than 5 days later did this obsequious, saccharine, lick-spittle, ass-licking interview of the most disgusting, lowest IQ, stupidest moron to ever grift his way into power. Trump, of course. So, but anyway, so Hunter Biden, just bringing him up because he's fighting back too. So like Ray Epps should, if he could, get somebody to help him pro bono, should sue Tucker and Fox News. Get in line. But Hunter Biden is fighting back with he hired, I guess that's how you put it, some high-powered lawyers, and they're going after perjury traitor Green and those who are attacking him. And I think that's a great idea. He needs to do that. Because I'm a big proponent, and you guys know, of not letting fascist stink bombs sit in the middle of the floor unchallenged. Because all they do is stink up the place. People think that, don't even give it any attention. Those people will figure out what's right and what's wrong. No, they won't. You need to challenge every lie. You need to push back on every ridiculous statement. You can't let it out there unchallenged. It really is. So from the Washington Post, I'll get back to Ray Epps in a second. Hunter Biden, this is from the Washington Post. Hunter Biden's lawyer seeks ethics probe of Marjorie Taylor Greene for verbal abuses. Yes, good. It's about time. That bitch needs to be shut down. That kooky QAnon Jewish space laser racist filthy Nazi needs to get the long arm of the law, smack her across the face legally and peacefully. So a lawyer for Hunter Biden called Monday for a congressional ethics investigation into the behavior of perjury traitor Greene, alleging that she has repeatedly directed unmoored verbal abuses at the president's son, including false accusations of human trafficking and cavorting with prostitutes. Representative Greene's unethical conduct arises from her continuous verbal attacks, defamatory statements, publication of personal photos and data, and promotion of conspiracy theories about and against Robert Hunter Biden, said lawyer Abby Lowe, who wrote a letter to the Office of Congressional Ethics. And if that's not a violation of ethics, what is? You're talking about a member of Congress attacking a private citizen with unbased lies. And what what Perjury Trader Green is talking about, he's saying that Hunter Biden is cavorting with prostitutes and human trafficking. She posted a picture of Hunter Biden in Joe Biden's convertible with two young girls. One was his niece and the other her cousin. And he was driving them somewhere. So there was a picture, and Perjury Trader Green posted this picture and said, here's Hunter Biden on crack, human trafficking young prostitutes. And not only is she attacking Hunter Biden with this filth that comes out of her stinking, disgusting excuse for a mind and a mouth, but she's attacking these young women who are they're just young kids. They're teenagers who are going about their lives, and they need to be bullied by a member of Congress. Really? That's how they are, though. You see, there's no low too low. So there needs to be repercussions. How could we allow this to go on? How could we allow her to get away with this? We can't. Because who's next then? It's Hunter Biden. It's Ray Epps. It's who else is next? Because nobody's safe when it comes to Republicans seeking power. That's for sure. They throw their own mothers over the bus. I mean, they will under the bus. They'll throw their own, and we know that. They throw their wives, their daughters, their spouses, their own dignity under the bus. And we know that. Just look at Ted Cruz, who Trump called his wife ugly in front of the world, and there's Ted Cruz in the middle of a coup. Not after saying that Trump's a narcissist, he's a liar, he's a sociopath, he can't tell a truth, he wouldn't know what to do, he throws a tantrum when he hears the truth. All of this is true, but still, there goes there goes Cruz supporting Trump in spite of it, and I always wonder about Heidi Cruz, after Ted Cruz genuflects to the man who called her ugly in front of the world, he crawls into bed with Heidi Cruz, and she's just like, this is cool, dude, I don't know. How much do these people sell their souls to the grift, to power, to greed? I mean, the thing is, though, if we live, sometimes I think if the old saying, it's not this saying, I mean, it came from World War II, the only way evil triumphs is when good people do nothing, right? And are there any good people in the Republican Party? Because it didn't have to get to this point. It didn't have to go. We wouldn't be fighting a fascist coup at this moment if there were good people in the Republican Party. But the good people in the Republican Party have been drummed out of the party already. Those people, if there were any good, I mean, they were the minority, clearly, but they're gone. So, I mean, there are no good people to stop this crazy train, because they're all aboard the damn crazy train, and they're going for broke. Just like, that's why they look to Viktor Orban's Hungary. They look to the illiberal democracies as a model. That's what they want to do. That's what they're doing here. And Tucker Carlson is, he was helping them. And of course he was, I mean, he was clearly all in for Putin. And this is why you have the Republican Party, when the Ukrainian people are fighting an authoritarian takeover of their fledgling democracy, who do the Republicans side with? Many of them openly, they're siding with Putin, which is a disgrace. It's an absolute effing disgrace. But, yeah, we even have Ted Cruz. What was he saying? Oh, do I have this? Ted, let's see. I hate Ted Cruz. Because you know what Ted Cruz does? This is what they all do now. They all have podcasts. You see? Because they need that narcissistic supply. It's all about money and power to them. And they need their platforms to lie. And they like to sit there and soak in all the attention. Let's see, Ted Cruz, because I had him on tape talking about Ukraine. Maybe I don't have it, but he was saying that here it is. Oh, I hate him.
For the Democrats, this has become a virtue signal. For the Democrats, they wear a Ukrainian flag. Zelensky has become, I think People magazine is going to name him the sexiest man alive. They're in love with him.
Unbelievable.
And it's become a way. A Ukrainian flag has become like a COVID mask. It's a sign to show your virtue.
Yeah.
Your virtue? What's your virtue? That you're not a Putin puppet? That you're for democracy? I mean, I don't understand the stance of these people. A Ukrainian flag is like a COVID mask. It shows your virtue. Well, I guess you're right. A mask, wearing a mask during the pandemic is kind of like a patriotic duty. That it's virtue signals that you don't, that you're willing to do the smallest, simplest thing to maybe prevent another American from dying from this deadly disease. It's the simplest, stupidest thing you could do. No one's asking you to storm the beaches of Normandy. It was just put a piece of cloth on your face and maybe somebody doesn't have to die. That's virtue signaling. Yeah, okay. Proudly, then. And wearing a Ukrainian flag, that's also virtue. See, what are Republicans signaling with their love of Putin? They're signaling that they hate America, that they are anti-democracy. And look, let's not be gaslit. Let's believe our lying eyes. These people are trying to destroy democracy. We're witnessing it. And democracies need to be cultivated and cherished, and they need to be protected. But Republicans they're coming full tilt boogie for it. And in fact, let me play this one thing that really irritated me. This was a couple of days ago, and this is part of the problem. Part of the problem, and I think it's almost like human beings, we can't help it. We will normalize anything. And it really is true. It's part of our, I guess, survival mechanism. And if you are a student of history like I am, you study the rise of the Third Reich, let's say, and the things that you would think that who would stand for such laws, but it happened, and people normalize it, like the Nuremberg laws, and that for example, they wouldn't allow Jewish people to own bicycles or cars or pets or radios. Who would, by that point, of course, it was too late. Many of the Jews couldn't escape if they wanted to, but it just became normal. A normal part of society was that one day maybe you'll wake up and your next door neighbor would be gone, and you just go about your business. So, as far as I do see it happening in this country. Now, one of the things like we talk about is that it's a good thing that the corporate media, on one hand, many in the corporate media are calling the fascists out for what they are. They call them fascists. They they say, you know, this is a dangerous time, and we should be, you know, on alert because of Republicans. There was really only one pro-democracy party in this country. But then what really frustrates me is that the same corporate media, they'll go from a story about how Trump is a danger to democracy, and they'll go right into like a poll, right? You know how that drives me insane. Up in the polls, down in the polls. Now they're already starting with the polls. It's, you know, it's not even, it's not even, we're like 16 months out for the election. And we're already, the polls. Is Biden too old? Is Biden too blah, 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 blah. You know, and the polls say that the Republican, a generic Republican would beat Biden, and why is Biden's rating so low and whatnot. In one breath, they'll talk about how Fox News spreads lies and these silos of information that half the country is you know, down the rabbit hole of propaganda, and then in the next breath they'll talk about a fucking poll, that you're polling these same ignorant people about what their opinions are. And, you know, is Biden too old? Well, why don't you shut the fuck up about it, and maybe people will, you know, do some other stories about the things that matter in this country, and stop asking low information, ignorant voters who already are, you know, some of them think the fucking election was stolen, that, you know, why are you polling their ignorance? It's so incredibly annoying. So, I mean, and that is putting it mildly. But, you know, as far as the corporate media, so this is what they'll do. They'll say, oh, this is dangerous, and blah, blah, blah. Trump is a danger. The big lie is a danger. Republicans are not just, you know, they're not just big lying all over the place. Then they're passing bills against targeted minority groups, specifically trans people, and they are coming after women, you know, taking away women's rights, and this is fascist. I mean, this is all the things that they say. And then they got to go check in with the Trumpanzees. So here's MSNBC, they went to Staten Island. Let's talk to some Trumpan fucking Z's now.
Vaughn Hilliard is in the Trump stronghold, Staten Island, New York, talking to voters there. What are you hearing, Vaughn?
Who cares?
Chris,
who cares what you're hearing from these morons? Really? Why don't you go and educate them? Instead, I mean, this is a Trump stronghold. The same Trump you just told us is spreading the big lie. The same Trump who is an authoritarian wannabe dictator. That one. The one with the coup. Right? That's the one that's the Trump stronghold. I don't get this. I don't get this normalizing the fascist coup. Because that's what they're doing. Because when you go to this Trump stronghold and you interview people as if Trump is just some other candidate that somebody might pick, you're normalizing him. You're saying that the big lie and all of the election denial bullshit, all of the trying to overthrow a legally elected president, that we keep finding out more how deep the coup really went. It wasn't just the bloody January 6th. Then they had the coup. They tried to overthrow it via bureaucracy. You know, that's what Ted Cruz tried to do. Let's set up a commission. You know, of course, a commission, wink, wink. We'll put the people in the commission, and then they'll just rule that, you know, Trump won. You see? This is what they did. We have Trump on tape. I mean, Ted Cruz on tape, and we also have Trump on tape. But go to the Trump stronghold and ask these people who are Fox News victims? The same Fox News that we just heard from the Dominion lawsuit that under oath they all admitted lying to the fucking morons, lying to the victim/viewers. So that's the Trump stronghold. Let's talk to them about their feelings, what they think. Why don't you go there and educate them? Use this however many minutes and do another segment on how dangerous it is to continue to have this big lie. Why don't you do a story about how, Hitler first tried the beer hall putsch, just like the January 6th putsch. How they tried the violent insurrection. Well, that didn't work, and now they did. Then they went and they overthrew democracy legally and peacefully. And here's not necessarily peacefully, but here's Republicans all over the country, how they're limiting people's right to vote, how their only election strategy is to kick Democrats off the voting rolls. We have them on tape talking about it. So, I mean, this is insanity. Let's go to Trump's strongholds and get the opinion of the Fox News victims, right? I mean, this is what they're basically saying.
Folks that we've talked to here over the last couple hours are very much reflective of these new NBC News polls here nationally. When you're talking about this potential Donald Trump versus Joe Biden matchup, it's much like the fact of having the Dodgers and the Astros go head to head. The most likely to get to the World Series and yet unfavorable by the large greater national majority. But when you go to their divisions, the Republican Party and the Democratic Party, right now, they are the two front runners, clearly.
Whatever.
And when you look nationally at the numbers, you've got 70% of Americans saying they don't want Joe Biden to run. 50% of Democrats say they don't want Joe Biden to run.
Who cares? Nobody's interviewed me. I don't understand. No, they don't want Joe Biden. Who's going to run? Who? You got a name? Let's go for it. We don't got a name? Well, then it's going to be Biden. Okay, move on. Next. Who cares? I don't care. I don't care. I don't want a fascist. I don't care. The Democrat. Oh, they don't want Biden to. Why? Who cares? Oh, he's too old. Well, Trump is only 2 years fucking younger, and he's in a lot worse shape. He looks like shit. So, can we stop with this stupid mental masturbation? This corporate media circle jerk of Biden's too old. I mean, didn't we just go through this in the midterms? Or am I having deja vu all over again? Because that's what it feels like to me. Biden's too old, and they think this, and the polls, and the polls, and the polls, and the polls.
And then on the Republican side, you've got 60% of Americans saying they don't want Donald Trump to run. And for both of these men, age...
How many times are we going to have to hear this? Right? I mean, I'm saying it. It's going to happen again and again and again and again. This is going to be the story over and over. NBC polls. A poll said this. They don't like him. It's a little, he's old. He's this. He's that. I don't give a shit. He's old. Who? If there's anybody else, you got somebody else in mind? No. Okay. Next, let's do a story on how Republicans are a danger to democracy. How they're all over in the state houses and wherever they are in the majority, they use their super majorities to ensure that Democrats are silenced. They can't speak. They are taking women's rights away. They're trying to ensure that students can't vote. Wherever the Republicans have their filthy fascist clutches around the neck of power, they're squeezing the life out of democracy. Let's do a few stories on that. Oh, my God.
Is a major factor as to why, but when it comes down to it, the folks end up going to their corners. Take a listen to some of the folks we talked to.
I'm a registered Republican.
Who would you like, Donald Trump or
Ron DeSantis?
Ron DeSantis.
Ron DeSantis.
Why not Trump?
Why? You know why? Because the fucking corporate media. You think this guy is some kind of political scholar? He's a political science major. He's a Trumpanzee. He's a Fox News victim. I lived on Staten Island. I was raised on Staten Island. I know Staten Island. I know these people. I don't know him personally, but he reminds me of every other Staten Islander. They're tediously insular. And it's, they're dumb. They're fucking Republicans. Half of them. Not everybody, of course. I live there, and so do some people I still know that live there and are normal. But, the problem with Staten Island is that they're racist. Okay? I live there. I know this for a fact. For example, I could tell you stories. Let me just tell you this one story to kind of sum up what we're talking about. I live in Queens, the most culturally diverse borough in New York, of course, but the most culturally diverse neighborhood in the entire country, according to the census, is in Queens. It used to be Astoria. I don't know if it's still Astoria. It might be Jackson Heights. I'm not quite sure. But that's what, they call it the world's borough for a reason. And so I was on Staten Island one day, visiting a friend, and we were talking, drinking coffee, sitting in the kitchen, blah, 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 chewing the fat. And her husband came in, and her husband's just some dumbass, non-political Staten Islander, a yokel. He's a carpenter, just a regular Joe. And he walks in and he said, where are you living now? And I said, oh, I'm in Queens. And he said, I'm not going to say the full word. He said, oh, yeah, lot of N-words out there, right? And I was like, what? I said to him, what? What do you... And I looked at my friend. I'm like, this is how he talks? See, he thought, because I'm white, and, that's how he talks. That's regular conversation. And I'm not talking about a million years ago. Not my father's generation. I'm talking about not an old man, just some dude in his 40s. That's how he talks. This is how he thinks. I mean, to me, it's like you say that word and it's like, it's disgusting. I wouldn't say that word. It's gross. And he just let it roll right off his tongue. It was shocking, frankly. A lot of N-words out there, right? As if, that's just like a normal conversation. Like I was just going to say, yeah, it's diverse. It's culturally diverse. I was just like, what? And then my friend just laughed it off. But that's what I'm talking about. That's Staten Island for you. Because you got to know that this person, whoever he hangs out with, his friends, his co-workers, this is how they talk to each other. Because they're not educated. They have been, I don't know, raised in a very insular way. And it's like you're going back in time there. It really is. I don't know. So that's what he reminds me of. And you can look at him, and I'm making a snap judgment, but I wouldn't be surprised if the N-word was a regular part of his vocabulary. And yeah, so there you go.
I don't know. I'm tired of him.
Tired of him?
Yeah, it's enough already. I don't want to curse. Sorry. I voted for him last time, but he lost.
This time you want to say
Voted for him last time. Of course you did.
Younger guy.
You're a registered Democrat, so unlikely to vote for Trump.
I'm not sure because I don't like Biden's age.
See, this is a guy who looks like he's right from The Simpsons. I'm not sure. I'm a registered Democrat, but I don't like Biden's age. Well, where are you getting this from? You don't like his age. Well, what's the alternative? Okay, I don't give a shit if he's a fucking crypt keeper. Yeah, I don't like his age. I don't like having my rights stripped as a woman. I don't like the attacks on trans people. I don't like book banning. I don't like assaults on democracy. I don't like more money for the top. And I don't like social safety nets cut and cut and cut. I don't like climate change and doing nothing about it. I don't like living in the goddamn 1800 rules that the Republicans actually are fighting about. That's what they want. They like the Comstock Act or Comstock whatever Act from 1870 whatever. This is what they want. Unreal. I don't like his age. I don't give a shit. His age. It's not about him. You dummy. It's not about him. It's about who he will put in positions of power. What judges will be on the bench. Who's in the cabinet. Does he have a cabinet of, octogenarians? No. It's unreal. I don't like his age. Well, Trump is less, like I said, he's 2 years younger than Biden, but we got to hear about his age. What about Trump's age? He's no fucking spring chicken, and he's a fascist. So, you see what I'm saying? I can't take it.
Make you more likely to vote for Donald Trump if you were facing him?
Maybe.
Donald Trump, I don't like his age, so let's all just wipe our ass with democracy. Let's forget about the coup. I don't care. Biden's old, but did he incite a coup against democracy? What? I mean, come on. And then the way that these, reporters or whatever, that they talk to these people as if they have something to say, as if this is somehow imparting wisdom on the rest of us. Like, this is so interesting to us. We need to know what's on the freaking finger on the pulse of the dude in the fucking ferry terminal.
Joe Biden is looking to announce his re-election this week.
Of course, right, yes. We're all informed, right?
Him or Donald Trump?
Oh, I wouldn't vote for an old man. He's too old, no.
Joe Biden is too old?
Yes.
What about Trump?
What about him?
Would you vote for Donald Trump?
Yes. Yes, I would, now that I think about it.
Oh, yes. Now that you think about it, sure. Now that, as if he wasn't already thinking, as if he isn't a Trumpanzee. You see, that was one of those, I used to be a Democrat, but bullshit. Now that I think about it. Yeah, Trump, let me see. Let's see. Let me see. How old is Trump? Old is Trump? 76. Trump and Biden 78. How old is Biden? 80. Oh, shit. 6, 7. Yeah. Well, he's a few years older. He's already 80? Okay. I don't give a shit. Prop him up. Weekend at Bernie's. I don't care. He's got a vice president. He has a cabinet. I don't care. He's got a hand. His hand works. He can still sign bills. So, but still, Trump is old. Who cares? I don't like his age. Wow, wouldn't it be funny if Trump just croaked? I mean, legally and peacefully.
This is a weird variable at play here, Chris, is that you're dealing with an electorate that was looking for somebody younger, yet the reality is that Donald Trump in our polling among Republicans is up by 16 percentage points over Ron DeSantis, and for Joe Biden, he is the clear-cut favorite. In our poll, 96% of one-time Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren primary voters said that they would for sure vote for Joe Biden in a general election against Donald Trump here. So the realities of a primary battle may lead to another Donald Trump-Joe Biden matchup here. And of course, to the extent to the age for both men, does that become an increasingly variable of concern? That is the question that we'll be following here in these months ahead, Chris.
Of course,
Vaughn Hilliard, thank you for that in
it
Staten
and beating
Island.
it
The
and
new
beating
polls
it.
pointing today to a Biden-Trump rematch in 2024 remind us that the conventional wisdom and sources tell us President Biden would be very happy with that. He and his team think former President Trump is eminently beatable in a general election. But if that's what they want, who and what do they fear? Joining me now, former White House Communications
Who
Director.
cares? Oh my God. See what I mean? But when they go back and forth like that, as if, oh well, they want Biden, but Biden's old, and then Trump, he's not as old, and let's forget everything, all of the crimes from Trump, right? Let's all forget every disgusting aspect of the filthy fascist who should, if we really want to get technical, shouldn't even be allowed to run for public office because he's a fucking seditionist. Right? I mean, we do have a little bit of in the Constitution about not being a goddamn traitor, right? Let's see. The Constitution of the U.S. Let's see. One of the things, this is just an aside that I've been thinking of. Wait, where is it? The Constitution. Hold on. The amendments to the Constitution. All right. How many amendments in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights? There are 10 amendments. What are the first 10 amendments in simple terms? Okay, the first 14. All citizens have freedom of speech and religion. Number 2. U.S. citizens have the right to own and carry weapons. This is just some that's bullshit, though. They have the right to join a well-regulated militia. Okay? All right. The government cannot... Number 3. This is the other thing. If the Constitution is so sacrosanct, why... No one ever talks about the Third Amendment to the Constitution. The government, not be... You're not forced to house soldiers. That's in the Constitution. That's clearly an amendment that kind of speaks to, it's a little bit archaic. So if that's archaic, and nobody even talks about it, oh, okay, the government can't force you to billet soldiers. You can't, they can't take over your house and put soldiers there. As they used to. It's to such a degree that the founders put it in the Constitution. So if that's kind of gotten old and we've outgrown that, why not the Second Amendment? If you want to own a musket, go right ahead. But I don't see anywhere in the Constitution where you can own an assault weapon. Okay. So there you go. Citizens, the government needs a warrant issued by a judge and based on probable cause to legally search citizens' property. Number 5, citizens have the right to remain silent, blah, blah, blah. 6, citizens have the right to an attorney. 7, a jury of one's peer. Now, remember, the half of these amendments that the Republicans they masturbate over the Second Amendment. These other amendments, and we've heard Trump talk about it, they hate these amendments, the jury of your peers, right to remain silent, reading your rights, all of that, they hate that. They hate them. They think reading somebody their rights is weak. How many times have we heard them say that? Oh, don't read them their rights. Oh, yeah, you take them in and you read them their rights. You're coddling them. Because they hate America. They hate the nation of laws. They want to be able to own assault weapons because they want to live in a lawless society where everyone knows their place, even if that means having to shoot them. They don't like democracy because they hate black people, and they want guns because they hate the rule of law, and they want to terrorize everybody into conforming to their autocracy, to their autocratic tendencies, which are more than tendencies. It's a pathology, really. So let's see. Oh, well, here, the 8th Amendment. Punishments may not be cruel, unusual, or excessive. That's another one they hate. Tell me where I'm wrong here. If anybody can point it out, I would certainly discuss it. Number 10. Oh, the federal government's power is limited to that given to it by the states and the citizens of the United States. They love that one. Because then they could say states' rights, even though they mean rights for me and not for thee. Yes. Number 11, people who live outside of a state cannot sue that state. We know how important that amendment is. Number 12, presidential and vice presidential candidates are presented on one ballot. Number 13, slavery is illegal in the United States. And 14th, the definition of a citizen of any state and country is given. No one shall be denied life, liberty, or property without due process. Well, they hate due process as well. They like shooting you when a cop pulls you over, and they just want to execute you in the street. So, I mean, am I wrong here? Am I wrong? They hate the Constitution. The only thing they like is the Second Amendment because they hate the Constitution. I mean, before I keep going, I see your super chats, Elise. Thank you so much for keeping the show going and growing, and thank you, Ed, for your super chat. Tucker goes bye-bye, and Tara says hi. Hi, bye-bye, Tucker, and thank you, Ed. And thank you, Jim, for your super chat. And thank you, Jim, for also being a moderator. So, let me see. A couple of things I wanted to talk about. What did I put on the list? Well, where is it? Well, we could talk about... There's a couple of things. So, Russia... We can go all over the place. Russian state TV misses their puppet traitor Tucker. I mean, well, this is like a rule of life, right? You want to know somebody? Look at their friends. You want to know somebody? Look at who they hang out with. Look at their heroes. Look at who is upset now that Tucker isn't on the air. It's all of the traitors. It's perjury traitor Green. But you would think that if autocrats are upset that Tucker doesn't have his platform at the moment, that would give you a clue, And but I mean, I guess I'm really asking too much, because I think the same way about Republican voters in general. If you're voting for a party that is endorsed by David Duke and the KKK, you might take a minute, and look at yourself and think, why am I in league with the KKK? Why am I also voting for somebody who's endorsed by the most vile racist organizations in the country? That would give you a hint, you would think, right? But there's a level of denial. That's another reason why, corporate media doesn't do us any favors when they normalize these right-wing voters. Because in my opinion, right-wing voters, anybody voting Republican at this point should be ashamed of themselves. Now, in the future, when we're all gone and the history's been done and dusted of this time, hopefully democracy prevails. And they'll watch Tarabuster. They will. There will be anthropologists scouring all of the podcasts and what average people said about the times they lived in. And I want them to know that we recognize we recognize the problem, that we're trying, and that I'm of the opinion at this point that anyone voting Republican should be ashamed of themselves, all of them, because they're voting for corruption. What are you voting for? What are you voting for? Average right-wingers. What are you voting? I mean, really, when the corporate media is talking to these idiots at the ferry terminal, what are there any policies? Can you give us a policy? Why don't they ask them that? That's the other thing. It would only take a second. Well, what policy do you support that the Republicans are for? Right? And then of course they never do. And when they do, what happens? It's people like the Good Liars do things like that. The comedy team of the Good Liars. They'll go and they'll ask Republican voters. They'll say, well, you're a Republican. What do you vote for? Oh, well, I hate that critical race theory. That's CRT. I hate that. Well, what is that? They ask them. They actually do a follow-up. And have the clips, and they're like, these people don't know what they're talking about. It's like when they ask that woman what woke is, right? They don't know what it is. They never push back. Don't you think that? They would be doing us a favor, corporate media, if they actually asked. Let me see. Woman doesn't know. That was fun. What's her name? Doesn't know woke. Woke. If I hear this woke one more time in my life, it'll be too soon. If I never hear it again, that's the statement. That's the wrong way. Oh, yeah. Bethany Mandel, a woman who wrote an entire book on woke, couldn't define it. Well, and that's the thing, like with these corporate media man on the street interviews, why don't they ever ask them specific questions? Like, what do you care? What do you care? I wish they would ask them that. What do you care? Well, they should ask them that about trans people. What the fuck do you care what people do? Leave people alone, you goddamn ignoramus, racist, bigoted fuck. Set me out on the street. But they never go and ask them. They'll just say, you like Trump? Oh, you like DeSantis? What do you like about DeSantis? That he's a book banner? You like that? You don't think people should be able to read books that have gay people in them too? Oh, okay, good. What else? You don't like you don't like trans people. Oh, okay, because you're the end all and be all of existence, and you got a pee-pee. your pee-pee is in line with your gender ideology, or your gender identity, I should say, excuse me. And lucky you. So now we all, because you're the center of the universe, you think that since you're not trans, that nobody should be or is. And you have zero compassion for anybody. And Republicans, the entire ideology is about kicking down on people who are different. So, okay, I get it. Like perjury traitor Green. She has a sign outside her office because her neighbor across the hall is a representative who has a child who's trans, and she has the trans flag outside her office. And perjury traitor Green, who is just a derivative, lowbrow, filthy fascist, who hasn't had an original thought in her head since the day she was spawned. She put a sign outside her office that said, "There are only two genders." Could you believe this person? Really? Even when I'm saying it, I just can't believe it. There are only two genders, male and female. Trust the science. Because, the science is that your gender identity is in your brain, not in your pee-pee. But perjury traitor Green, who is dumb, and also, you have to be dumb to fall down a Q hole, really. See, remember when she apologized for all the stupid things she thought? But in keeping with the Republican way, which is to never take responsibility, being a member of the party of personal responsibility, not taking responsibility for anything, she said that she was allowed to think something. What did she say? Allowed. Let me look this up. Marjorie. Do I have this? I found that fascinating when she was apologizing for being a moron. She said she was allowed to believe things. That's what she said. I was allowed. You're allowed to believe things. Don't take any responsibility. Who allowed? Was somebody... You had every other opportunity, as anybody else did, not to believe those stupid things. Frankly, if I was on the internet and I read a story that said that the wildfires were being started by Jewish space lasers, I wouldn't believe that. I'm not. Yeah, I guess it just takes all types, I suppose. Allowed. I was allowed to believe things. Right? Because the party of personal responsibility never takes responsibility for anything. And they're infants. They are like infants who they're very cranky, but infants grow up. So I don't really want to disparage infants. And you just don't know what's the excuse, Republicans? You're grown ass people, but you believe all this bullshit. And, to have a sign, think about this. She has a sign outside her office about peepees. About people's peepees. Trust the science? That's not science. Your peepee isn't science. You were lucky, and we know, because we know science, right? So to become a human being, there's a lot of chemical chain reactions that have to happen. All human beings all fetuses are initially female. We know that, right? That's the science. That's why men have nipples. See? I don't know if you knew that. But you learn everything here on Tarabuster. Become a patron at patreon.com/TaraDevlin. So, So there are a lot of things could happen in the process. Sometimes, things go wrong, things go awry. There's a little bit too much of this, a little bit too much of that, or less of that, and it's not out of the realm of possibility, as we know. But you could think that somewhere along the line, your gender ideology does not, or not ideology, and identity is somehow not in line with the pee-pee that developed and then there's the other unseen factors of life that we have no words for. Or, for example, we're not just machines, because if you chop us up and put us back together, we're not going to work anymore. Whereas you could do that to a machine, and you could take a machine apart and put it back together, and it could work. So there is a life force involved that we don't really understand. I don't understand. Maybe. But I'm not arrogant enough to think that I do, which is what, Republicans are, because they all think that they're all obsessed with peepees. So they're convinced that whatever that is, that's a man on a cloud. That's a guy. There's a dude on a cloud with a big peepee. And his real concern up there on the cloud is whether your peepee is in the right clothes or the right bathroom. According to some kook, Perjury Trader Green, who is dumb as shit. She's so dumb that she was allowed to think things that were stupid. And she can't take responsibility for that. But she's writing the laws now. And has a sign outside her office that says, "There are only two genders. Trust the science." Can you believe these people? I'm sorry. I have to say it out loud sometimes, because it's unfathomable that we have to endure such morons. And what did I just see, actually? Something I saw on Twitter, which is a cesspool, by the way. I got to get off Twitter. It's going to happen. Oh, wait. Here. Let's see. I just went on Twitter. Tucker. Oh, this is fucked up. Tucker Carlson. Let me see. This is on Twitter right now from Ron Placone. Said Tucker finally issues a statement. He basically says that the deep state uniparty wanted to silence him because he was tackling the biggest issues of our time. Let's see what he says. Wait, is this for real? Is this for real? Is this for real? Oh, shut your... I can't take him. But more than that, I'm just looking underneath. George Santos tweeted, "I will always stand up to the radical rainbow mafia. I believe in the freedom to live and let live, but will never bow to the indoctrination of the rainbow mafia. My flag is the American flag." Because, he's one of these self-loathing assholes. He's whatever. He's a Republican. This is the Republican Party. Grifters and self-loathing, whatever. No matter what, you have to be, on some level, you gotta be just a little bit, or more than a little bit, self-loathing. So I don't know. I was just listening to this because I'm not sure if that's is that really Tucker's statement? It doesn't make any sense. What's true? Wow. What's the... Yeah, that's why liberals will win. And Republicans have to pretend that they're fighting for everything that's really they're destroying. True things will win. Yeah, that means sit the fuck down and shut up. 'Cause you're a liar. We have it on tape. We have your emails. We have your very words that come out of your mouth. I mean, imagine the arrogance of somebody like this filthy pig. No offense to pigs who are amazing and charming and intelligent, but unlike right-wingers. But this monster who, in the privacy of his own text messages and emails, says that he knows he's a liar, and then he goes on and will never stop lying to those who are watching him. He's victimizing these people, the viewers, and he continues to do so. We have him, and we have the messages. We have Murdoch under oath. We have the statements. We have the recordings of these people when they think that that nobody's watching or listening. We have them saying the truth. And now, it's just nothing but gaslighting. But it's like this is why you have to be somewhat sick, like for Republicans. They're all suffering from some form of sickness. And now it really is true. The more I encounter these people, the more I know that is true, especially now, because if you're not a complete cuckoo as a Republican, you've already left the party. You've become an independent, if not a Democrat or whatever, but you've left the party because anybody normal is already gone. And the ones that I've encountered in the different protests I've been at and whatnot, they really are nuts. They really are. There's something off about them, all of them. They all have issues. Not that, normal people or liberals don't have issues, but it's different. We have regular issues, we're not, there's something fundamentally sick about them. They are, I've told you the stories, one of the guys that was screaming at us when Trump was arrested, he was so clearly a closet case. He was yelling. There were a couple of gay people, men that I was standing with, and he was yelling at them about how big their assholes are, and how and who was talking about this? Nobody. But this is what he was thinking. How big your asshole must be this big. This is what he's saying. And it's clear to me that he's in the closet. This is a closet case. He hates himself. And the other thing was that this was a guy that had already, I recognized him from the paper because he was arrested at a drag queen story hour, that he attacked somebody. So who is that unhinged that they that they have to go protest drag queen story hour, and they can't control themselves that much that they have to attack somebody and end up in jail? So, except someone who is a self-loathing closet case. And that is all of them. On some level, they're sick. And then there was this other woman who, they're just horrible people. Horrible. You wouldn't want to spend any time with them. I mean, thinking about them across the 10 feet that they had between us was enough. But being in their presence for that long, like hours, it was exhausting because they're insane. You're not dealing with normal people, and they don't get help. And that's the thing about this country. This is another reason why we need universal health care. And why, Republicans are filthy fascist hypocrites too, because they always talk about how mental health, but they want mentally ill. They want people to be ill and angry and unable to do anything healthy to find relief for their suffering. So they'll join this cult and they activate these morons. It really does give them a purpose. And that's another reason why, instead of, it's very dangerous because instead of getting the help they need, they pour themselves into this cult. And you see how twisted they are because they're not normal. They're flying flag. Everything that they're wearing, all this kind of every made in China Trump swag, stupid giant flags. They look like idiots. And it's just overcompensating for how sick they are. But it's part of the sickness, because who else but a sick person would behave like that? Really. It's the cult. It's the identity they get from it. And it's the feeling of that it's also because they are so powerless and ineffectual in their actual daily lives that they're the thing that Tucker and the right-wing propaganda mill affords them is it gives them a sense of superiority, like they're seeing the Matrix somehow, that everything's rigged against them, and they're the ones, they're not powerless, because they see the truth. They see the deep state, but it's a manipulation. Meanwhile, the conspiracy is the same old conspiracy we've been dealing with since recorded history. It's the rich against the rest of us. That's what it is. It's the elites like Tucker Carlson, trust fund chicken murdering Swanson trust fund brat Tucker Carlson in the ivory tower, telling the morons that their problems aren't because of the top marginal tax rate and the new Gilded Age robber barons turning the United States from the most to the least upwardly mobile. It's because brown people or immigrants or, the border, people are coming across the border. Of course, that's brown people and immigrants. Or, now it's trans people. It's some marginalized and powerless, politically unconnected group has so much power over everything, right? If everything would be great if these people would be put in their place somehow. And it's incredible, though. That's the conspiracy. It's as old as dirt. That's the conspiracy, Make the rich richer. It's right in front of our faces. It's taking the top marginal tax rate from 90% to below 20% and 30%. That's the conspiracy. It's Reaganomics. It's trickle down voodoo. economics that turned us from, made us the widest income gap, the working class into the working poor. But they don't see that conspiracy because they have been told by the likes of this fucking pasty-faced fascist, Tucker Carlson, who's been fired from every channel. He is such a grasping narcissist. He's one thing you could tell, he was fired from CNN, PBS, MSNBC, and he's been fired from Fox. Where's he going to go now? The thing is, he cannot stay away from the camera because he is a narcissist. He needs the power. He's got the money. What does he give a shit? He's, you would think if he was not a sociopath, he could, do something good for humanity. But he's a filthy narcissist and a monster, and he needs attention. That's for sure. And he's not going to stop until more people are going to get hurt. More people are going to get killed. Yeah, think about this. He's such a scumbag that this is the guy that is, he has the morons, or had them, let's say, twisted about the fact that an M&M character started wearing lower-heeled shoes instead of high-heel shoes, because that's what's important, right? That you want to fuck your M&M candies. But that's what's important. This is what they're telling us, and it's society. Everything's upside down, right? It's chaos. It's out of control. Everyone's crazy. All these genders. Everything's genders everywhere. There's too many genders. It's like making something out of nothing, and they won't stop. I don't know if you heard. Trump, one of the things he was saying to whatever cesspool he was speaking with or at, because that's what he does. He's disgusting. He was saying that, about abortion, how that Democrats want abortion after you're born. They just execute the babies, put babies to death, and nobody stops this nut job. Nobody says anything. They're just like, ooh, ugh. Like this is normal. Where? Of course that's not true. So, but does it matter? Truth? What is truth, right? Truth has a liberal bias. So, fascists have no need for truth. All right. So, wait. Here's from... Where is this? A rare peek inside Fox News' outrage machine. This is from the Washington Post. Philip Bump writes, on the evening of January 6th, 2021, even as members of Congress were just starting to filter back into the Capitol after it had been cleared of violent rioters, Tucker Carlson began spinning the day's events to fit his preferred narrative. He focused on the death of Ashley Babbitt, the rioter shot by a Capitol police officer as she tried to climb through a window into the Speaker's lobby. Babbitt's death, in Carlson's early formulation, was an indicator not of the tragic consequences of falling into a world of election fraud conspiracy theories, but of an aggressive government intent on quashing dissent. Because he's a traitor. And he's doing Putin's bidding in helping destroy democracy. Babbitt, he said, bore no resemblance to the angry children we've seen wrecking our cities in recent months, pasty, entitled nihilists dressed in black, setting fires and spray painting slogans on statues. She looked pretty much like everyone else. Of course, this is all bullshit. So why was she there? We ought to think about that, he continued. If you want to fix it, you have to think about that. And that was Carlson's stick of posing everything as a question, right? I'm only asking questions. What harm can a question do? The only reason that the system is stable is because it's a democracy, responsive to voters. But too many in power simply respond to voters by saying, shut up and do what you're told. This is what, Tucker's shtick, his spin. In short order, it became obvious that Boebert, like so many other Americans who look, quote unquote, look like everyone else. And what does that mean? White. Had consumed conspiracy theories to a large extent. She elevated QAnon rhetoric, for example, as she embraced baseless claims about voter fraud and the sort that Carlson championed. Her death resulted from a multi-pronged effort by people on the right, Donald Trump and Carlson among them, to consolidate political power by spreading misinformation about the election and about government. Carlson and later Trump then used her death to build more power by casting the government and law enforcement as the bad actors on January 6th. So let me just make another comment about that, because just think about that. We just read that sentence, Trump used the death of Ashley Babbitt, another dupe, just like they use Ray Epps, and if he dies, they'll turn that into some Seth Rich type conspiracy. Mark my words, right? If something happened to Ray Epps, that's what they'll do. They'll say he was taken out by the deep state, right? You know it. But think about this, and then let's think about in juxtaposition of the other segment we just watched of MSNBC asking Trump voters, what do you think? As if this is a rational choice. You're talking about you're asking voters, oh yeah, who are you gonna go for? Trump or Biden? Who are you gonna go for? The guy that used the death of Ashley Babbitt as some kind of Hearst vessel in their coup against America to try to turn her into a martyr, sort of like the Nazis turned Hearst vessel into a martyr on their beer hall putsch from who died, and they used him similarly. There's so many correlations or so many parodies. So yeah, let's go check in with the Trump voters. The same voters who are cool with the coup, I suppose. Let's not mention that, though, because that might put them on the spot. Why don't you ask them, what do they like about Trump? Maybe they like the coup. Or maybe they like how Trump, calls it like it is. This is another one I keep hearing from him. Well, how's that? Well, you like when he calls people a fat pig, or when he's says that they're not good enough to rape, shit like that. Is that what you like? Or how he eats? Did you see that video of him eating a pizza and asking who wants the pizza? How much would you pay? He asks these disgusting lick spittles. How much would you pay for a piece that I've eaten? You say that's how much he respects the dumbasses. You see that? What if Biden did that? What if Obama did that? Of course, they wouldn't, because different rules for Republicans. And Democrats aren't, for all their flaws. I would say that the Democratic presidents we've had in my lifetime, they're not sociopaths. Right? It's just so unreal. But they're just allowed to get away with it. The other thing, how the Republicans were like they always attacked Obama as a celebrity. He's the biggest celebrity in the world. Remember that? Meanwhile, they got celebrities. They have a literal his only claim to fame is that he's a celebrity. He played a successful businessman on reality TV. Unreal. Anyway, let's see. In June, he elevated baseless conspiracy theories that the FBI had infiltrated the crowd of protesters in an effort to stoke violence. The purported intent to bring that crack down on the political right. Why can't I talk? Carlson declared that this was Joe Biden's intent from the earliest moments of his presidency. And this is, they took Ray Epps, and he's their patsy. So, let's see. Carlson's evidence for this FBI infiltration included the existence of an unindicted co-conspirator in federal charging documents, which never made sense. One of them was obviously the wife of the arrested individual. When she later joined her husband in an interview on Carlson's show, this didn't come up, but he and his ideological allies ran with the idea anyway. So, because they are liars. They are fascists. They hate America. They hate democracy. And their point is to destroy it at any cost. No matter who gets hurt, whoever they roll over, whatever. You're nothing. You're just a dupe. You're a pawn. You're a Trump University graduate. You're a sucker. You're a Trump Network vitamin scam, multi-level marketer who bought into the scam. And now you're out your money. Oh, well. A few months later, Carlson seized upon the idea that a man named Ray Epps was a federal agent who stoked violence at the Capitol. The Epps theory, like the unindicted co-conspirators one, originated on a right-wing blog run by a guy booted from the Trump White House for being linked to a white nationalist. Well, you are who your friends are, right? You want to know somebody, look at their friends. Judge somebody by the company they keep. There's another one. You're a Trump voter? That's the company you keep. White nationalists. Nazis. Filthy, fascist Nazis. KKK, Nazis. I mean, congratulations, I guess. I don't know. You should be ashamed. If you had an ability to feel shame, you wouldn't be a Trump voter, because you would be ashamed to vote for a con man with a fake university and a vitamin scam. You would know that you're being played. So this too was baseless, but the conspiracy theory has proved immune to debunking. And I was telling you that I witnessed this myself, looking at the comments on various social media sites discussing Tucker Carlson's firing. People are like, oh, Ray Epps. It's because he brought up Ray Epps. The deep state silenced him. So this all just adds to the mystique of this trust-funded brat who hates America and loves Putin, who hates America, who also hates America. It's a whole America-hating fraternity, and that is true. Every single one of them hates America. They hate the nation of laws. They hate the nation of immigrants. They hate the Constitution. They hate everything about this country. That's it. They really do. They say, oh, liberals hate America because we want to discuss our racist history? No, that is a sign of love. Loving America. because we want to make it better. We want to live in a nation of a diverse nation. And in order to do so, we need to hear each other and value each other and understand that there are all kinds of American experiences. And, if you love somebody and they come to you and they say, I'm in pain somehow, and you say, we're all in pain. How long you think that relationship's going to last? Well, that's why Republicans will do anything and everything to prevent the American people from having that conversation, from having empathy for each other. What a different way, what a different experience and country we'd all live in, and what experience we'd have if we approached our issues from a position of empathy and compassion and trying to, find actual solutions instead of just perpetuate the sickness. So the rich can get richer. All right, where am I? Let's see. A few months later, I read that already, blah, blah, blah. This too was baseless, but the conspiracy theory has proved immune to debunking. Sworn testimony from Epps, sworn under oath, right? Interviews in which he explains what happened, and even a legal threat from Epps himself. Nothing changes the fascist lie fest. It didn't matter to Carlson because he wanted to use his platform to elevate skepticism of the government, not present reality to his audience. When the House Select Committee investigating the riot held its first primetime hearing, a hearing that overlapped with Carlson's show, Carlson spent the first hour framing the riot as an attack instigated by federal actors. One of his guests was the guy fired from the Trump White House, the white nationalist guy, who made up the conspiracy theory against Ray Epps. Because they're looking for a patsy, and they understand that their audience, the people watching the show, are like baby birds of stupidity, with open gaping mouths, waiting for Tucker to just fill their mouths with all kinds of bullshit. And they're asking for more. And that's why Tucker's like, we got to keep lying to them because they're running to other networks who are lying to them. They just want to hear the lies. They want their stupidity validated. They don't want to, that's why I keep saying, they are a lost cause. This right-wing authoritarian base, there's no hope for them. We have to continue. We have to fight them, of course, legally and peacefully. We have to continue to evolve without them. We have to out-organize, out-vote them. We have to make sure they don't get power. We have to smash them legally and peacefully into the trash pile with the rest of the fascists where they're comfortable and where they belong. That's the game plan if we want to survive as a democracy. But after Republicans took control of the House in January, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy gave Carlson full access to video footage. You see how the corruption, the circle jerk of fascism. How do you think history is going to remember Kevin McCarthy? You think he's going to come out looking great, looking like a rose, looking like a patriot? They're going to be like, great American, that Kevin McCarthy. Absolutely not. He will be vilified. I just wish I had a time machine. I really do. I would love to see that. They're all going to be hopefully the Republican Party will go the way of the Whigs, frankly. I really hope so. Not soon enough, Well, and no thanks to the corporate media who prop them up. I mean, that's what they do whenever they interview people as if they're just voting for a normal party. I like him. I don't know. I like DeSantis. I like the book burning, book banning. I like that shit. I like the way he forced that gerrymandered map on the state. I like that, you know? I like the way that when he is attacking all the same targeted minority groups that I hate. I like that part about him. When he says woke 19,000 times in a speech, but meaning everything. It's a word that encompasses all now. It's just like eternal Jew. It's like music to my ears when he says nobody can read a book. And then he goes on and tells everybody that, it's a lie. I love it. I love when he attacks the, bureaucrats in the state. People just doing their job, and then he fires them, and then he sends his goons after them. I love that. I love when he says things like he's going to make his own police force. I appreciate that because I like fascism. I like when, I see democracy die a little bit at a time because I'm dead inside. And why should anything live if I'm dead? And I hate everything. I hate myself because I'm stuck in a loveless marriage and I'm gay, but I'm too cowardly to admit it. So I vote Republican because, they put the gays in their place. And I can't have gay people out there, but loud and proud when I'm all closeted and hateful, because that's kind of, it just says that I'm a coward and I can't have that. And it's too tempting when I see others living their authentic lives, and here I am wasting my life as a Trumpanzee. I gotta hate is, instead of love and acceptance, I chose hate. That's why I vote Republican. It's like a safe, warm bath of, like a bubble bath of cow dung and resentment and regrets. And I'm in it, and you know what? I found a community there. Because there's others like me who are too cowardly to just live. If they don't want to live an authentic life, yeah, because that takes courage that we don't have. But they don't. I don't know. They just don't know how to control themselves by involving themselves in the cult. Everybody else who's not in the cult, what will they know? They don't understand that I'm racist and I have to, and the reason I vote is that whatever, I don't care as long as I can say the N-word without some woke bitch telling me, giving me grief about it. Right, that's the good old days. Everything. I long for the mythical past. Why don't they ask them that? Really, I'm not kidding. I'm so sick of it because we're so stupid in this country that we are so. I mean, they know this. They go from like a story about how, the lies are prolific on the right. And then they go and interview these people and get their opinions as if they're not the stupid ones. Did you go through them, and did you do some kind of qualification and see if they knew what the fuck they were talking about? Did you give them a basics test, a civics test, a current events test maybe? But let's listen to them. I don't know. I just like DeSantis because that's what everybody is telling me I like. Well, what do you like about DeSantis? I like the way he eats his pudding with 2 fingers. I'm a 3-finger guy myself. At least that's what she said. And when I mean she, I mean that woman that I'm married to in my loveless marriage. But I love Jesus. So, even though I hate everything Jesus stood for, and Jesus, if he came back, I'd crucify him again. The conservatives would. That's the other thing I can't take. Yeah, just like when Easter, he is risen. No thanks to you, perjury, traitor, green. Oh my God, I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of living in their. You know what I'm sick of too? I'm sick of having to give them, like respect, as if I have to respect their stupidity. Like, oh, he is risen. What do you know? I have to respect their alternate history. You hate Jesus. Jesus was crucified by the conservatives. Never forget that. Just like never forget that the abortion rate goes down under Democratic policies. Okay? That's another thing that drives me up a wall. Because I never hear it. I never hear that on the corporate media. Why? I never hear it coming out of Democrat. I got to call my representatives again. Okay? Because I call them. Look, that's why I'm losing my voice now. I call them and I say, can you pass this on to AOC, please? Because she's my representative. I said, can you please tell her and remind her to go out on when she gets in front of a camera and to remind the American people that criminalizing abortion does not reduce the abortion rate. All it does is kill women. I never hear this. They talk about choice and choice. That's all well and good. Yes, choice and freedom and all that. But it's if you want to just strip them of the pro-life mantle, hit them with some freaking facts. The abortion rate does not decrease when abortion is criminalized. All you do is kill women. If you want to decrease the abortion rate, you vote Democratic. You expand health care. Well, universal health care, higher education. Oh my God. Is it this hard? Yes, it is. All right. I'm losing my voice. Thankfully. the audience says. Because I can't take it. Okay. Pudding face. Let me see. Well, according to, let's see. This is from CNN. Tucker's firing may have come down to one simple calculation that, let's see. It is in the hours following Carlson's abrupt dismissal, a number of explanations have emerged, all with plausibility. It goes without saying that it was no coincidence that the dismissal came just days after Fox's historic settlement with Dominion voting, when we read the statement from Fox, it just showed us that they continue to plan on lying. Well, they plan on continuing to lie. That's how I should have said that. But it is because they said that the settlement was proof that they have strict journalistic standards. But it was the fact that they were lying, which is not journalism, that's why they had to make that historic payment. Or I can't take it. let's see. Perhaps it was related to ex-producer Abby Grossman's lawsuit against the network, which alleged rampant sexism and anti-Semitic behavior. I know you will be shocked at that according to insiders, Tucker Carlson's show was a hostile working environment. Can you believe it? I can't. I just can't believe it. Apparently, Tucker was a real piece of dirt. That can you believe this? That someone born on third base thinking he hit a triple was a real piece of dirt to his underlings. You know, I just can't fathom that. It's so unlike him. A man of the people? To be such a scumbag to the people? How weird. It's almost like when Trump, so-called man of the people, was like a real scumbag to average people. You know, stiffing them, telling them he was going to pay them, and then saying, fuck you, sue me. Or those unfortunate enough to be a tenant in one of the buildings that he put his filthy name on, having to be inflicted or assaulted, let's say, with campaigns of harassment because you're on a fixed income and you're in a rent-controlled apartment. And you've been in the apartment for 60 years. You're in your 80s. Here comes Trump trying to get you out, trying to force you onto the street. That's your man of the people. God. Who votes for these people? Well, speaking of Abby Grossberg, here she is talking to Nicole Wallace.
What is it about the culture at Tucker? Because, listen, as someone who covers him and covers him as a force that threatened democracy until Friday night, it falls in this category of shocking, not surprising. What was for you, as someone inside Fox, shocking about the culture at Tucker coming from Maria's show?
It was very out in the open. What you see is what ends up on air. People are believers who are there. I found it difficult to cover the kind of stories that they wanted me to cover. I wasn't expecting it. Maybe I should have. That's what some people say. But, for example, right toward the end of my time there, when the January 6th tapes were coming out, Tucker was very set on finding an FBI person who was implanted in the crowd and spinning this conspiracy.
Does that sound like a news organization? He's trying to, what do Republicans do? Fix the facts around the policy, right? There he was.
That they were ultimately the ones responsible for the Capitol attack, not Fox News, as they're about to go into the Dominion trial, that it was really, the FBI that set up this thing, not Fox telling the American people that the election was rigged and the voting machines did it. And when I went back to them and said, look, there's no conspiracy theory here. I called this attorney that's representing one of the Proud Boys, and he flat out told me on 2 occasions, there is no conspiracy. Get away from this stuff. This is dangerous. Tell Tucker to stop. I'll come on your show and represent my client, but I absolutely will walk off if he asks me this. And the response was, well, find somebody else. Tucker is really intent on this. And that wore on my mental health, too, because by that time, I had really begun to connect the dots that the programming that we were putting on the air every night was not just generating business, but also generating hatred in the audience. And after January 6th, I had this wake-up moment that this is hurting people. People are getting angry. Some other theories that she had, and there was definitely tension.
They rob people of their limited lifespan, their serenity, their peace.
And there are records of that?
And there are records of all of that. I had been asked to spy on her by the Fox bosses and report back on what she was doing, which caused a lot of stress. And that was part of the reason I went to Tucker as well.
Incredible.
I just physically and emotionally couldn't take it. And when I go back and listen to some of those tapes now that I hear the stress in my voice and how depleted I was. And
so you spied on Maria for your Fox bosses?
Yes. I not spied. I would tell them what she was doing if there were things that concerned me. Spy is the wrong word, that I had handled in the past myself because we had a good relationship and can work it out together. I reported those things because I became very paranoid about my job because I had been shaken down by multiple executives at the company that I had to cooperate. So that was part of the reason I went to Tucker as well.
Where are all of those recordings now? Did Dominion ultimately get them?
I have several recordings that I'm still going through that we've recovered from all of the phones. There are 90 that we have. I don't know what Fox turned over. I do know, based on what I've read, that they did hand over those Sidney and Rudy tapes to them.
Yay.
Fox should have everything. They really should.
Have you been contacted by Smartmatic?
Yes.
And you've shared all the Otter recordings with them or whatever?
I've been subpoenaed. We haven't shared anything yet.
Haven't begun the discovery process.
Well, according to his from Rolling Stone, let's see. Come on. It just locked me out. God damn it. God damn it. Hold on a sec. Fox News staffers celebrate Tucker Carlson's departure. Pure joy, they say. Could you imagine working there? Ugh. Pure joy, one Fox reporter told Rolling Stone of their reaction to the split. No one is untouchable. It's a great day for America and the real journalists who work hard every day to deliver news at Fox. So there must be some of them there. Right? That's an actual quote from one of the producers who works there. Must be a relief to get rid of someone who's such a horrible monster. He's like Joseph Goebbels. You're like working for Joseph Goebbels. Absolutely. It was good. It was a good move to part with Tucker, added a producer. He knowingly spread lies throughout his time at Fox, but I fear management will replace him with someone who is just like him. So there probably won't be any real change, and that is the fear, because that's who they are. That's as Rupert Murdoch said, it's not red or blue, it's green. Because he's 92 and he needs more money. Good riddance, said a network correspondent. For a while there, it seemed like he was running the network. This clearly is a message that he's not. In the interim, it's a morale boost. That's for sure. Well, there you go. You know somebody by the company they keep, and you want to know how somebody is, who they are, then you know it. What people say about you when you're gone. If they're like, good riddance, if he was a decent person, they'd be like, no, he's great. We can't lose him. You would miss him. You wouldn't be celebrating. Apparently, in the halls of Fox, people are high-fiving each other. Their relief. Well, he's a scumbag. The fish rots from the head down. And obviously, Tucker thought he ran the network. And, Murdoch is a scumbag too. But he doesn't need Tucker. And if he's too big for his britches, then bye-bye. Good. But he also, not only is he too big for his britches, thinking he runs the network and treats people like shit, he cost, Rupert Murdoch almost $1 billion. And when the Smartmatic lawsuits come down, this is one thing, I guess when Fox News goes to court, when they have the trial, they'll be able to say, we've taken steps to remedy our situation by getting rid of the ground zero for propaganda, the lies, Putin's favorite broadcaster. Well, I should call him. It's not a broadcast. He's Putin's favorite mouthpiece. That's it. So yeah, I'm trying to find if there's any more celebratory quotes. This is a step towards accountability for the election lies. Who said that? Oh, that was Grossberg, the woman who's suing Fox. Yeah, all right. Everything sucks. Great. I'm looking at the time. So a couple of other things, just quickly. I know. I got to get better at time management on the show. But we will have a show on Friday, just so you remember. The first hour will be me, and then the second hour will be the author of, where is it? Confessions of an Economic Hitman, John Perkins. And I'm looking forward to that conversation. All right. Couple of things. Well, I was going to talk about, Ted Cruz is a traitor. We knew that. One good thing, though, according to Abby Grossberg, the woman who's suing Fox News, who took the recordings of Ted Cruz and had the recordings of him plotting to overthrow the election. These recordings have been requested and delivered to Jack Smith. Hurry up, Jack Smith. Please, Jack Smith, don't let me hang here. Don't let me down. Please. But Ted Cruz is already, what else do? They gaslight. They gaslight the American people. That's all they have. And Ted Cruz is defending himself. Where is it? He tweeted. I have this tweet. This MSNBC clown, he's talking about, what's the guy's name? Ari Melber? This MSNBC clown, yeah, he's a clown. Not you, though, right? You're the one who's a complete lickspittle to the man who called your wife ugly. But this MSNBC clown is breathlessly reporting that I secretly said in a phone call the exact same thing I said on national television the next morning. Actually, that's not true. So you can gaslight the dumbasses dumb enough to watch your podcast and believe the filth that comes out of your mouth. But when it gets right down to it, when Jack, let's explain yourself to Jack Smith. And then on the Senate floor, 4 days later. No, you didn't say that. You didn't say that you were going to form a commission some bullshit commission to go make the election go through these commissions that would invalidate the results. You filth. These people are filth. Did I mention that? Oh, God, let me live to see Ted Cruz get what's coming to him. I really, really need that in my life. Also, a couple other things I just want to mention because we don't have a lot of time, and I'll probably hang the show up in around 20 minutes, let's say, because I'm losing my voice. So, but I want to thank you for hanging out tonight. But why is Clarence Thomas not resigned? Why hasn't he resigned? Why? Because he's got no integrity, like the rest of the Republican Party. He's not there to serve. He's there to make the rich richer and to destroy pesky democracy once and for all. We can get more into it, but he's a filthy liar, and he's got no He's got no integrity, so he should go. He needs to resign. If he had integrity, he would have resigned already. Like others in his position have resigned when their corruption has been exposed. When their corruption is exposed, people with integrity resign. Of course, they wouldn't have integrity if they were, if they wouldn't be corrupt if they had integrity, but they have a sense of embarrassment, you see. But Thomas doesn't have any of these things. He has nothing but self-serving power. That the need for self-serving power, grasping need for him and his wife to be in a position where they can destroy democracy and have their asses licked at the same time. You see? That's what it is. Because if he had integrity, or if he had any respect for the institution that he pretends to serve. See, the thing with Republicans, the institution, they don't serve the institutions serve them. So he's not going to let go of this. He's like George Santos. What's the difference? They're the same people. Given a different set of circumstances, you might as well have George Santos sitting on the bench. He wouldn't resign either. He's got no integrity because they don't think about, because the system serves them, just like it serves Tucker Carlson. It's not to serve the people. The people are nothing but hosts from which to suck profit to these Republicans, to the right. That's it. So when your corruption is exposed, you wait, you hold on to that position of power because it's about you. You will not let go. You don't see the bigger picture. You don't care how it sullies the institution, because the institution is there to serve you, to serve the individual. So you don't care. If the institution doesn't survive, that's gravy to a Republican, because they will get what they can, as much as they can, like parasites, sucking on a host and making the host sick. That's all they do. They suck and suck and suck like parasites until the body politic. They're sucking on the body politic, and they're bloating themselves, and eventually this body politic is going to succumb to the disease. But in the meantime, they're riding high. That's why Clarence Thomas will not resign. He will not resign because what does he care? It goes to show you how his entire career, he was a liar. He's a disgusting human being from the start. We knew he was unfit from the start. The way he behaved, think about what we endured in his hearing, how he pulled the old Republican dirty trick of that he's the victim, right? He's the victimizer, but he made himself the victim. Oh, why don't, these bitches shut up and let me sexually harass them? Not to mention he's unfit, right? That just it speaks volumes about who he is as a person. He's unfit, but it also reflects on us. And he's Uncle Clarence Thomas. He was put there because he's got darker pigment. He's a dullard. He's a grasping. It doesn't matter, he doesn't have any relation or any. He's not thinking about the little guy. That's why they like him. That's why he's a human shield for Republican bigotry. So he ticked all the boxes for them, and he plays ball. He is a corrupt scumbag, and his entire history on the bench is evidence of that. And now it's been exposed that everything he talks about, everything that he says is a lie. So the one thing is that, he said that he had to run it through. He had to go and ask people, should I report this $500,000 trip or whatever? And they said, oh, no, you're cool. You're a cool guy. I thought if you're a judge, anybody who doesn't have a degree, who has a shred of integrity, looks at that situation and knows that's a no-brainer, bitch. Yes, of course you report it, you filth. But of course, now he's supposed to sit and judge us on the most important issues of the day. But also, according to the Supreme Court, has no ethics. I guess the founders and whoever else, they just couldn't imagine how gross today's Republicans would be. So they didn't give them the standards by which to function under. But that self-reporting is one thing, but then he also managed to break the law, because there's one element of by which he's supposed to operate, and that is if someone specifically has real estate dealings with this member of the Supreme Court, it's supposed to be reported. So, of course, he broke that law, right? Well, that's a law. It's not a suggestion. It's not a, it's nothing. It's not a nudge. It's not a pretty please. It's a law. He broke that. And then he lied because he's a Republican. And he said that, well, what does it matter? I don't have any business. Harlan Crow, my master, didn't have any business before the court. And that's a lie, of course. And according to more reporting, and I'm sure more is going to come out, Clarence Thomas helped kill an eviction ban that threatened Harlan Crow's business. Because, of course he did. Of course. Why do you think Thomas and the rest of the right-wingers are on the court? They're there to ingratiate themselves and their friends. That's it. I say it all the time. Republicans are not in government for altruism. They're in government to write the laws, to corrupt the government, to write the laws that will line their pockets, and their friends' pockets. And that's it. And that's why he's sitting on the bench. Because if democracy, pesky democracy, ever gets in the way, he'll have the last say on that too. So, I don't know. How much longer are we going to take it? I wonder. But this better not blow over. It better not. Of course, Republicans will do nothing about it. Can you imagine if it were Elena Kagan or Sonia Sotomayor or Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, any one of the normal people on the court? What would happen? Of course, they would have resigned. And before that happened, the Republicans, we would not hear the end of it. That's why I know everything with going on with the fascist coup happening, that it's like a fire hose of corruption coming from the right. But this Supreme Court is illegitimate, and something has to be done. Meaning that either, expand the court or do something about it, which puts term limits on these people, puts ethics on these people. Of course, John Roberts, who is a scumbag, too, another illegitimate scum, will not go to the Senate. He was called to answer for the corruption on his court, on his disgraceful court, and he refuses to answer, even though because he's saying separation of powers. But what about advise and consent and checks and balances? So this court is out of control. They are illegitimate, and I guess the consolation is that that the future generations, like everything else, like the right wingers we're dealing with in the House, right, and Trump and all the Trumpanzees running around, history will not be kind to them. Just like history will not be kind to the Roberts Court. This Roberts Court will be shorthand. It will be like Benedict Arnold, right? That's shorthand for being a traitor. That when you say the Roberts Court, that's going to be shorthand for a corrupt court. Sort of like gerrymandering. You know how these words come into existence or usage because of an event that's memorable, and that's what's going to happen with the Roberts Court. This court is going down in history as the most illegitimate, corrupt court in American history. Mark my words. And the last thing, we got so many things, and I went to the eye doctor today. I'm getting new glasses. He put some stuff in my eyes. And my eyes are very cloudy. I guess it's that whatever eye drop they put in. My eyes are feeling kind of tired. I did a lot of things today that I had to get done. I had to get my eyes examined. I need my head examined. I need new eyes, though, really. I wish I had new eyes. Where's the other thing I wanted to talk about? Oh, yeah, well, I guess we could talk about... Where is it? Oh, brother. I can't take it. I cannot... Oh, well, I was going to talk about the trans lawmaker who's been barred from the House. I think that's a longer conversation. Montana transgender lawmaker barred by GOP from the House floor because she stood up. She's the only transgender lawmaker, but this is what Republicans do. I guess this is kind of like an overarching, another example of their hatred of democracy, diversity. They're targeting minority groups. And so just like with the Tennessee Three, they have now elevated Representative Zephyr to national prominence, and good. They apparently now all of a sudden, this is another thing. We need more time to talk about how the everything is an insurrection now. You realize that. This is how much that we have to be aware of Republicans and their ongoing insurrection and their coup, because they're trying to minimize what they did on January 6th by calling peaceful protest, an insurrection. And they're doing this. They did this to the Tennessee Three. They did this to Representative Zephyr, saying that she spoke on the House floor. She reminded these monsters, because they don't know what they're talking about, and they're gonna kill children by banning. How dare they ban medical procedures or your private business with your doctor? How dare they? You see? I thought they hated big government. I thought they loved freedom. What part of freedom is a Republican joining you, a Republican representative joining you in the doctor's office? That's like Dr. Oz, remember? He said the quiet part out loud. How a woman's their choice should be between a woman, her doctor, and local officials. Where the fuck do we live? That's right out of Afghanistan, like right out of the Taliban. Because I mean, come on. Where in that equation does the woman fall? A woman, her doctor, and local political officials. Same thing. If you have a trans child and you want to ensure that trans child lives, that you want to give the child the help that they need and deserve because you love that child. You know, the fact is, Republicans, they just hate everything. They hate minority groups. Trans people are the minority group du jour. But they talk about gender confirmation, of course, reassignment, you know, and while they're talking, this is what they say because they disparage people, but, you know, they do not do gender confirmation surgery on children. That does not happen. So Republicans do not know what they're talking about, but they don't want they just want to vilify trans people. They want to give the dumbasses something to hate, something to target their manias on. And who cares if kids gonna die? A couple of kids die, some kids kill themselves. Oh well. Really, that's the truth. So while they talk about the representative Zooey Zephyr, who got up and told these fascists that they're gonna kill people, and wait, I think I have her.
Disallow the use of the medical care that is accepted by every major medical association. If you disallow that care and don't allow people to have access to that, the only therapy left is either A, meaningless, or B, conversion therapy, which is torture. Intersex people exist, trans people exist, and this bill doesn't change that. At the very end of the bill, the letter that says life-altering medical procedures should wait until they are adults. What I will say is if you are, by this bill and by what these amendments do, if you are forcing a trans child to go through puberty when they are trans, that is tantamount to torture. If you vote yes on this bill, and yes on these amendments, I hope the next time there's an invocation, when you bow your heads in prayer, you see the blood on your hands.
Amen. But they don't want to hear reality. They don't want to be educated. And they called her speech a breach of decorum. They called it an insurrection. Now everything's like decorum. So they banned her from speaking. So all of her constituents, they can go pound sand. Their problem, I suppose, is that they voted for a trans person when they should know their place and simply accept the Republican way being shoved down their throats. So here's the Montana, one of these fascists, talking about decorum.
This conduct cannot be allowed to stand.
The conduct, not their conduct, their hateful, ignorant bills targeting minority groups, not that conduct. They're talking about the conduct of a representative who is educating them, saying, you're killing people. You don't know what you're talking about. She did it in a very respectful way, as far as I'm concerned. They just don't like it. That they don't want to see the blood on their hands. Well, it's there. We see it. We're trying to tell you. right-wingers, but you don't want to hear it because you need a minority group on which to pour your manias and to direct your dupes to hate so they can pour their manias on. You should all be ashamed. Anybody who votes for these people, once again, that's the other thing. You know, you're targeting a minority group. And this is like, and every time the corporate media goes out and interviews one of these, I like DeSantis. Shame on you. Shame on them. The corporate media should present this as, what's wrong with you? Why are you so hateful? Why are you targeting a minority group? Don't you know the lessons of history? You don't like trans people? Don't be a trans person. Mind your own business. Shut your mouth. But you're going to legislate against people that you don't understand and don't want to? Not that and as if you need to understand. Sit down and shut up and go live your life. Live your life. Ever try that? Shut up and live your own life. Leave people alone. And now what about, like, you can't get a boner, so somebody's going to go in and say you can't have a Viagra or Cialis? Well, you wouldn't like that very much, right? Somebody's going to go in and say, oh, well, you can't have your diabetes medicine because when your fat white boy lifestyle caught up with you. Somebody's going to come in and tell you that you can't have that. Oh, nobody would dare, right? But because they feel untouchable. These people. It's like they're legislating what medical procedures people can have access to. Because they like freedom, you understand? They love freedom. They're free. The freedom to hate. The freedom to misgender people. So when she's here.
Our constituents and our state deserve better. They deserve our full attention, and this institution and body deserve the respect of all its members. However, it has not been respected, and we must regain the decorum of this body, not only now, but also to set precedent for the future.
Decorum. How out of decorum was she? How that was disrespectful? No, it wasn't. Of course it wasn't. She's full of shit. Decorum. Because they don't want to be told that they're evil, and they are. So, but it's not out of decorum to misgender her, which is what they did. The Montana lawmakers, they misgendered their colleague. They did, they do it because they are filth. And what about decorum, though? Decorum for me, not for thee. Oh, boy. One more quickie. Because I put it on the list. Where is it? Where am I? Where are you? I lost you there. So Lauren Boebert she spoke at a school, and the parents are kind of like annoyed at this now because she said, Lauren offered herself, banned from the bowling alley, the one who didn't graduate high school, who passed her GED on the fourth try, probably because they gave her a sympathy grade. They were like, just get this bitch out of here. I can't take her with her stupid screaming about having her gun or something. But she went to the local, she said she was going to be nonpartisan. Let me see. So she visited a school And the parents are now annoyed because it says Lauren Boebert's visit to a rural Colorado school. Oh, God damn you. It just put up a paywall. Well, here we go. Here's another one. Lauren Boebert's visit to a rural school started a small revolt against the district. Disagreement seemed inevitable as U.S. Representative Lauren Boebert is a polarizing figure. No kidding. 500 votes. Shame on you for voting for her. Those 500 that put her over the top. Shame on you. You could have had an actual representative, not a clown. Not a sick clown. But the Dolores School District Superintendent, Reese Blinko, didn't think the issue would linger for as long as it has or turn quite as sour for his small community in rural southwest Colorado. Blinko, a principal, and other officials have been under fire for weeks from a group of parents angry and concerned that the district invited Lauren Boebert to speak to several hundred students at Dolores Middle High School last month for a civics discussion that turned somewhat political. I wish there were video of this. Parents within the district say they were blocked from attending or watching the Congresswoman's address when they voiced concern ahead of time, and they worried about the message that that hosting Boebert sent to the students. This is a representative. Can you believe this? She's unfit. We know this, but she shouldn't be in office if this is a problem. Like, if this is, she's unable to speak to children because she can't control herself. She said it was going to be nonpartisan discussion of civics and how to run for office and things like that. But she, of course, turned it into a rant about stupidity. The stupidity that runs through whatever that is between her ears. Boebert has a history of espousing anti-LGBTQ views. She's called women weaker than men, criticized the separation of church and state. Like I said, they hate America. Made Islamophobic comments implying that a colleague in Congress might be a terrorist when, of course, projection, confession. Boebert is a terrorist. We know that. She tweeted the location of the speaker during the riot. Did she ask for, was she one of who asked for a pardon? Was she one of them? Let me see. Lauren Boebert. Pardon. Oh, yeah. She asked for a pardon. Yeah. She's a traitor. Traitors. There's so many traitors. Domestic traitors here. Domestic terrorist traitors. Political and religious experts say her Christian nationalist rhetoric presents a danger to the country's democratic foundations because she's a fascist. This is about Boebert herself, the hate she spews and the policies she continues to support and put forward that vilify those who are different than her. Molly Cooper, a parent in the district, told the school board meeting during April 13th. That's perfect. Great. Good for her. Good for these parents for standing up. And Molly, what's her last name? Cooper also said, what about the LGBTQ kids? What about them? How are they supposed to take this when we have somebody who can't control themselves? Who's full of hate and bile. But there you go. That's why you do not let those who are banned from bowling alleys speak at your school. If you're banned from a bowling alley, what are you doing in the halls of power? All right. I'm losing my voice. I gotta go to bed. What are you thinking, everybody? How's it going out here? Oh my God. I gotta block these people. You know, Rokfin is... There are so many assholes on Rokfin. I don't know what it is. This show is on Rokfin, but I get these dumbasses on there. There's so many cultists and fascists, horrible Trumpanzees, fake liberals who think that, Putin is right. It's incredible. All right, guys. Thank you for hanging out. And become a patron at patreon.com/TaraDevlin. Remember, on Friday, we will have John Perkins, author of Confessions of an Economic Hitman, on the show. 3rd edition is coming. I think it just came out. But I'll be looking forward to that one. All right. Yes, we're cruising into the Tarathon territory. But I gotta go because I'm fading out now. My voice is failing and I'm tired. My eye drops. Whatever he put in my eyes is making my eyes foggy. So, all right, guys, listen. I will see you on Friday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. In the meantime, hold on to your hats. Because we will what? We will win. We're on the right side of history. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, and democracy. Thank you so much for hanging out, guys. I love you all. Thank you for your super chats and all your support. My name is Tara Devlin. It's been awesome seeing you tonight. And I will see you on Friday night. Wrong. See, look. I timed it out so beautifully and then I messed it up.